Hey, I am back with another video. I'm really excited to do this one because I feel like it's something that, I was kind of outside smoking a mopacho and I just kind of started to think about what it was that I wanted to talk about. And I try to just channel most of the videos that I do anyways. I feel like I can be my most authentic self when I'm doing so. But this particular one, I really wanted to talk about, like, the concept of the Matrix, right? Like, I just rewatched that movie 2 nights ago, and like Ralph Smart's right. It's a documentary. It's not even a movie because everything that they're talking about in that movie is so freaking true as to how the society that we live in operates, right? Like if you look at the upper echelon oligarchic cabal, like they really are the ones who project this alternate reality using us as the vessel, and that's how the same thing that is going on in the movie, right? It's a fake reality that is being casted upon in the minds of everybody, right? From the time you're born, as you raise and you get older, right? Like, I think that it's something that, to me, I've been able to start gaining an understanding of, which leads me to my next point of the current arrest that just happened was with Cobra, Andrew Tate, and like, I'm not even gonna say that I don't agree with Tate on everything, right? It's something that I disagree. Maybe there's just some things that him and I look at things that aren't maybe in alignment with each other, right? But I'm always willing to have the full spectrum conversation. There's some things that he says that I challenge, and there's some language that he uses that I would like to challenge him on. But aside from that, it's beyond the point. I personally, I'm not give my opinion. I like Tate. I like Mr. Tate a lot. I think what he's doing is huge. I think what he's doing in terms of fighting for just men in general is big in our society. I feel like it's something that we really, really, really need overall, is to have somebody who can be a voice for the disenfranchised, right? People who feel as if they've been left behind. People who feel as if they're just on their own island with nobody that cares about them, So it's like, to have somebody as in a prominent position as he is, I think it only benefits the youth in our society in general, right? So anyways, they arrested him, and first thing he tweets when he gets back, of course, he's like, the Matrix sent their agents. And I'm like, yes, like, that's exactly it, like, however you feel about Cobra is irrelevant to the fact of the arrest that just happened, right? Like, when you look at what he's been saying and what he's been doing in terms of combating, this system, the Matrix, like, it proves, he's just proving the point of everybody, right? Like, they'll come after Cobra, but they won't go after certain people that have been rumored to be involved with human trafficking or pedophilia, So it's, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get hit, but you get what I'm saying overall, and it really goes to show you how the overall landscape of the Matrix, how it operates, right? Like, once you start speaking out against the mainstream empire, they're gonna come after you. It's just how the cookie crumbles, right? And when I really start to dive more into it, right, and I start to dive more into the overall analogy that we've been using about the Matrix, if you start to look at our society and you start to look at the reality that they projected through people, right, like, it's collapsing the system. It's becoming exposed. That's why they're after people like him, right? That's why they don't want people like him conversing and talking and having a message. They'll just shut him down. They'll just shut down his platform, and they'll just shut him down on everything, It becomes easier for them to just do that rather than to have, conversation, right? They'll write hit piece after hit piece after hit piece. It's very similar to Trump. Obviously, Trump didn't really know how this all works because when he got banned, they silenced him for the most part, But Andrew, they silenced him, and he still got more views. So it's like he still beat the algorithm, They thought the AI would be able to do it, but the AI wasn't able to shut him down for a long period of time. I would argue that if anything, them trying to cancel him and call him a misogynist made more people want to listen into, what does this guy have to say? You know, let me find where him and I might agree, disagree, that kind of thing. So when we really see the overall dynamic of the Matrix and the power that they possess, I think it's something that we really, as a society, have to start having a conversation about, right? Like, where did you get all these beliefs from, right? That's why this conversation can be hard for most people to have the conversation with people who are so strongly opinionated, as I'm strongly opinionated, right? But I'll tell you where my beliefs came from. I'll tell you what it is that I believe in, whereabouts did I find this information, who was it that I listened to, that kind of thing, you know. And of course, I think mostly on my own. You know, I take influences from Cobra and Russell Brand, and I take influences from quite a various amount of people. But overall, Rob Smart, like a lot of people, like I take a lot of influence from them. But overall, like, this is my own message here. This is my own unique story. This is my own unique words that I'm conveying to the audience. Like, that for me is very important, because it's just like, you can take what other people are saying and then you can just throw that at people as what you've thought, you know. You gotta take what they're saying and be like, and critically think about it, right? And I think that's where they want to shut that out, because it's easier to just project a reality onto people. They believe it, and then they just regurgitate everything that they've been told without really thinking about any of it. You know, I'm not saying studies and data aren't important. Those add value. Those are important, right? But as we've seen, right, with the whole pandemic, a lot of that stuff can get skewed. A lot of that stuff can get thrown onto the table. So it's like, you have to be wary of that too. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to be aware of that, because you don't know who's fudging the numbers, who's fudging the data. Like, it can get real sloppy, real fucking quick, bro. So it's like, that's where I turn it back onto myself, and I use my own consciousness and my own light, and I use the Force, right, to be able to weave my way through all of it to get to what I believe is the truth, you know. And I think that's kind of what we should be looking at as a society. I think that, like, in terms of the overall system, I think it's lying to us. I don't think that it's really trying to benefit anybody but themselves, realistically, right? Again, they'll go after Cobra and say he's a human trafficker and whatever they said he was. But there's certain people in certain places of power that may or may not have been involved with such atrocities. So, but that doesn't want to be looked at. It's just Andrew Tate, some fucking multi, champion kickboxer, multi-world champion kickboxer, if I said that right. They'll go after him, and they'll go after all these other people, but they're not really looking at the what problems that they might have, because they've created those problems, realistically speaking. And that's why they send agents. They'll send agents to come after you. The FBI, those are all agents. DOJ, DEA, they're all agents at the end of the day. They're all agents of the Matrix. So it's like, that's the thing that we really have to start looking at if we're really going to start wanting to evolve. Because hard conversations have to be had, man. Decisions have to be made. That's really just what it comes down to, you know? It's because they have us comfortable. They have you comfortable. They have you in a position where you're not really willing to get outside of the comfort that you have, and they'll just feed you what they want. They'll condition you the way that they want to condition you. That's it. That's what they're banking on, that, because they know how easy it is. They know how easy it is to keep people in their own little fucking boxes, fighting amongst each other. Democrat, Republican, black, white, pick one. It doesn't matter. It's easy for them to do that, right? It's easy for them to be able to just sit there and pin everybody against each other. You know? It works to their advantage. And you can take the same thing from my country behind me, Kenya. They'll do the same thing with tribalism. So it's the same everywhere for the most part. You know, obviously it's different methods, and I understand that, in different countries, cultures, that kind of thing. But if you look at the overall ploy here, that's what That's their ploy. Is to keep everybody separated and keep everybody in a class, keep everybody divided by race, keep everybody divided by politics, keep everybody divided by ideology, and then they can do their work. They can continue to operate, and they continue to make as much money as they want, raise taxes, the inflation goes up, create more money. That's really what we're up against. And if you don't know what you're up against, then you're fucking smoked. They're going to smoke you if you don't know. If you don't know, if you're unaware, if you're not really looking at this and believing some of it, questioning some of it, no. They still have you then, at that point. If you still think, this politician, this, why? Question what ideology that you have as to where you got that from, right? I'll give you an example. I used to watch Korn for such a long time, and I'm not going to say the P word because I don't know if they're going to strike me or not, but I used to watch Korn, right? And for years, I never questioned why I was controlled by Korn and why I was so lustful, why I was trying to get with all these women who don't like me, don't give a shit about me, why I was simping to all these women who don't like me. I never questioned it until somebody challenged me on it. That person, Nick, challenged me on that and said, what do you think, right? Where did you get this view of thinking from? Oh, well, I don't know. Crickets. No fucking idea, right? No idea where I got it from. And then that made me think. That started a whole nother chain of thought that propelled me to get beyond it, right? And it took me some time, and I fell forward in it, and it was a I struggled with it until I didn't struggle with it, until I surrendered to it. And that's the kind of concept that I'm saying that a lot of people should have. It doesn't have to be Korn. It could be anything else. It could be, because see, even the politics and whatnot, I kind of always knew it was kind of bullshit. I did support Trump and worked on his campaign, but even halfway through that, I'm like, this is bullshit. I don't believe in this. Like, the Republican Party is a joke. They're not doing what they say that they're going to do. So it's like, I always kind of innately had a feeling that most of the system was a joke and it was a scam anyways. Realistically, when you really start to peel apart the layers and you get beyond the conditioning, you get beyond what they're fucking telling you to believe, you see it's a scam, So I always kind of had been that way. And I know I voted for Trump because he sounded good. He had good lip service. He sounded like something that I wanted, right? Then I come to find out he's just the rest of them. So then it didn't even matter at that point. I'm like, okay, now I get it. After that whole Trump thing, it's really when I'm like, you know what? Now I became an anarchist after that, realistically. So my views on the system, I was never really that attached to it. I was attached to Trump for a little bit until I learned, right? But I learned that on my own, overall. And when we really see the dynamic here of like what it is that we're dealing with and what we're up against, right? Because if we don't know what we're up against, then we're blinded by the shit. And that's where most people are at, right? Most people are blinded by the system because the system has a lot of power. They have a lot of ways to condition you. They have college. They have schools. They have Hollywood. They have everything. They have everything to just beat you over the head with what to think, how to feel, what to believe, all of it. It's just so easy for them to do it. They can do it through many vehicles. It's all one well-oiled machine. The Matrix, right? So the real question that I start to ask, again, I go back to that question, is where did you get these beliefs from? To people who are so hell-bent on whatever what ideology they're telling you, right? Coming from the fucking garbage mainstream media. What ideology, where did you get that ideology from? And I want to challenge you, I want you to challenge me. I don't want to just sit in my own echo chamber of fucking people who think like me, Because I want smoke. I want to have a discussion. I don't even just debate, and I don't want to argue and whatnot, and I don't want it to get to that point. Necessarily in terms of arguing, right? Like, I don't want to start yelling and calling. Those are all just fallacious arguments. People who are going to do that anyways. Those are people who don't really have any idea what they're talking about. That's why you see in the media people calling you names, and they'll call Tate the misogynist. They'll call Zuby the racist, and he's black. They'll call whatever they can conjure up because they don't know what they're talking about. They're just literal NPCs. They're literally fed a download, and then they illuminate that reality. Yeah, that's what it is. They illuminate that reality based upon what it is that they've been told, without thinking about it, without any of it. You can read to me all the data studies, and you can read all of the pseudoscience bullshit. It's fine. I'm not saying that's like some of those data. I'm not saying that stuff doesn't have a meaning or a place, right? But a lot of people are just going off of that. They're just going off research, You're not really using the consciousness that God gave you to think this stuff through. To finally get to the point where you're like, okay, you strip the layers of the conditioning. You strip the layers of what the Matrix is telling. You strip the lies. You strip the deception. You strip the bullshit, right? And then you get to a place where you can start now looking for some truth, right? And the truth, you don't have to look for it. It'll arise. You don't have to go looking for it anywhere. It's just use your fucking mind. Use your consciousness, right? Use your eyes. Your eyes to see beyond the physical. You know what I'm saying? So that's where for me overall, like, I really start to look and look within, because that's really where you'll find what it is that you're looking for. You'll find your values and morals and ethics within. Most of it has just been blocked off by the Matrix anyways. So most of what you're taking on really isn't what you're about. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I think overall, like, when we start to really ask these questions and we really start to bring this stuff to the surface, then we can start to have a real conversation. But if you're just going to judge other people and you're going to smear other people and you're going to coin this person as that, then whatever then. At that point, if you're going to just do that, then you deserve for it to collapse. You deserve to collapse with it, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry, because it's the God honest truth. If you're not really willing to hear other people, if you're not really willing to listen, if you're not really willing to engage, if you're not really willing to do anything aside from think the way that your narrow-ass mind thinks, then you deserve to collapse with it. That's just what it is. The truth hurts, man. It does. It really does. And I don't think a lot of people, especially here in the West, really want anything to change. I don't think that a lot of people in the West, and it's not exclusive to everybody. I'm not saying that everybody doesn't want this, but I think a mass swath of our society just doesn't want freedom. They just want the slavery. They just want to be controlled by this empire, by this Matrix. And those that do will perish with it. It's just that simple. If you're not trying to do any work on yourself via yoga, martial arts, and these are things that I do, so there's many ways to do it, but these are ways that I'm doing the work that I need to do on myself to get myself to where it is that I want to be. Right? And if you're not doing any sort of work on yourself, through any sort of vehicle, through any sort of self-improvement, you're just going to perish with what is happening. The materials, the money, all that, and none of those things are bad, right? But if that's the center point of your lifestyle, you're going to fucking crumble, man. You're going to crumble with this empire, because it doesn't care about you. It wants what it wants from you. It wants your soul. That's what it really wants. And they'll use whoever they can use to project that reality and control the souls and minds of others. That's what we're up against. People don't really want to have that discussion, though. It's easier to stay in the comfort box of what you think you fucking know, right? And then what you think you know is not what you know. Just like what I'm thinking now, there's more to it. This is just where I'm at. This is just the level of consciousness that I woke up with today, January 3rd at 11:28 a.m. That's where I'm at. It might change in 2 hours, as I continue the process of improving, right? So this was a real fire. I'm just really in the fire mode of it, right? And I'm not angry. It speaks for itself, right? But it's okay to have the aggression towards it, because you see what it does to people who want to create a new system and combat it. They're just going to slander you and say that you're whatever that you're going to say. I mean, they're stupid people, those people. They're bots. It's what they are. A lot of them are agents. So it's like, you have to look out. You have to watch out, in dealing with the Matrix. Because it has so many traps for them agents to get you. Do you understand? And I think that overall, like, we really have to start looking within. And that's where we're going to find out what our true values are, what our true morals are, what our true ethics are. Once you strip away everything that you fucking think that you know and question it and get to the source, get to yourself, well, then you can start doing some real development, and that will change the world around you. That's where the change lies at the end of it all, right? It's even for myself. I'll keep it on me. Like, I have to do the work within myself to merge and heal the corruption that's within me, so that I can change the world that I live in, the immediate world that I live in, right? It's the only way for me. Maybe for other people it's different. And for other people, however they found it. Like I know Cobra and I are different. I'll go back to him. Him and I are different. He probably hasn't taken more of the path that I have, and I haven't maybe but it doesn't even matter. Because we see a lot of the same things. Right? We understand how godless this empire, this matrix, it is. You know? You understand he understands what he's up against, just as I understand what I'm up against. And same with Aubrey Marcus and Dr. Robert Gaffney. These people understand. We understand we're all saying the same thing, realistically speaking. Nothing much different that we're saying when we use different words and whatever, but the premise of what the fuck we're talking about is the same. So, this is a video that I've been long waiting to make for a little while, and because like I said, I've just been channeling it, so it just wasn't the right time frame. It wasn't even that it wasn't the right time frame. It just was all building to me getting to this video. I think this is one of the better videos that I've done. I brought a lot of passion and charisma to it and authenticity to it. So I look forward to sharing this with the world. I look forward to making another video. And to everybody that's out there, may the force be with you. Stay free. Mwah.